Hi, Chuck. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. This is my daughter Julie. This is Cynthia.
Hi, nice to meet
Hi,
you.
nice to meet you too.
So, Chuck, what I thought we'd do today is first check in and see how you did with the plan this week, and then address Julie's concerns. Does that sound okay?
That sounds fine.
All right. So, how did it go?
Well, it went pretty well. It was not completely successful for me. Um, However, with the poker group, I did bring the Guinness, and somehow the conversation went in a way that I was able to tell them that I was making a change, that I was changing my consumption and that kind of thing. And it went very well. They were very supportive. They didn't treat it as funny or anything like that, and recognized why I was doing it. And of course I used the medical reason as the strongest reason. So that's the way that went.
So that sounds great. You were able to switch to the Guinness, so you drank less. You were able to talk with your poker buddies, which I know last week you weren't
Yes,
at that, you weren't
exactly.
ready, and you were very concerned. And it sounds like you had a much better reaction than you had anticipated.
Yes.
Um,
And I think I can continue that
okay, great.
approach.
So that sounds like 2 successes.
As far as the drinking at home and that kind of thing, maybe 60% success on that. I'm not much liking yet the diluted wine, but I would say about 60% on that, so I'm going to keep trying.
Okay, so again, 60% is more than half the time you were able to do something different. We
Yes,
talked last
yes.
time about change being a process, and remember we talked about your smoking, that it took, I think, 3 times you said until you were able to quit, and that you tried a lot of different things. So it sounds like the Guinness, that sounds like a work, and it sounds like with the wine at dinner that it's at least working part of the time.
Yeah. And when I know when I had dinner at my daughter's, I didn't put the ice in. I don't think I'd given her that much detail about what I was doing, and so I did drink as I had before, and I'm not as happy about that as I would like to be. So there was not as much success as I would have liked to have had at that point.
Okay, so it sounds like you're still feeling this is more of a failure?
Yes, that I'm more that I'm not succeeding.
Okay, so that you're not succeeding as much. Although, again, I just do want to point out that you made a lot of changes from last week, that poker night in more than half of the time with the drinking with the wine. So do you want to keep working on the plan for another week or make any changes?
I think I'd like to just stick with the plan.
Okay.
Maybe I can add some sparkling water to the wine or something like that to make it easier to transition to a lesser quantity. At this point, that's all I want to do. I don't particularly want to stop, but I can certainly lessen the quantity.
Right, well, the plan has been to cut back based on what you felt, so trying maybe in addition to the ice, adding a little bit of sparkling water and seeing how that goes.
Okay.
And
I will do that, yes.
Okay, and continuing to have the Guinness and
Yes,
drinking
yes,
less
yes.
at poker night. All right. So, Julie, thanks for coming in today. I know your dad had mentioned that you were concerned, and if you could just tell me a little bit about what your concerns are.
Sure. Well, I've always known that my dad liked his wine, and he drinks with his buddies and everything. But when I heard that Dr. Clark was concerned about his drinking, I just got really worried. He just lost Mom not that long ago, and I don't want him to, be sick. I don't want to lose him before I have to. So that is upsetting to me. And then, I still see some things that really concern me. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he fell asleep while he was cooking, I guess, and I got a call from the security company saying his fire alarm had gone off. And, he slept through the fire alarm, so that had never happened before. And I just, I guess I want to see where the changes are supposed to be. He still brought wine to my house when he came this week, and I didn't know how that fit into what he was supposed to be doing. I guess I just I just wanted to touch base and see what's supposed to be happening. And
I can appreciate that, and I hear a lot of different things. I hear that you're worried about your dad's health. You had recently lost your mom and don't want to, want to make sure your dad's doing everything he can for his health. And it sounds like you've seen some things with his drinking that you've been worried about and that have concerned you.
yeah, I don't want to make you feel bad. I just, I'm allowed to talk about this stuff here, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you are.
Okay. So has what you've heard today, has that changed anything, or do you still need to understand a little bit? What would make you feel more comfortable?
Well, I mean, you said that you're making changes and that, he's meeting these goals, but I guess I just would like to know what's supposed to come next, like what's the actual plan? Is he supposed to quit drinking altogether, or is there something I'm supposed to do when he's at my house? I just want to know what's supposed to be happening.
Right, well, the plan is really up to your dad, and the plan we've talked about, and it's all right if I go through
Yes,
that,
yes.
is to really focus on cutting back. That's what your dad feels is reasonable, that what he can do right now, and we've talked about a few different ways of cutting back. One was poker night, which you heard that he was going to try to drink less, and that this week was a success. It brought a different type of beer that he could drink slower, and was also able to talk with his friends who he plays poker with to kind of explain what was going on. With the wine at dinner, again, we were trying to focus on cutting back. And the initial plan, we thought maybe if your dad had smaller servings, he would drink less. That we found that didn't work. So the plan for this week was to try and add, your dad likes red wine with very cold, so to fill the glass up with ice first to see how that would work. And it seems like that was pretty successful. You said at least
It's a
60%
start.
of the time. Exactly, it's a start. So we're trying to look at that.
Okay.
And in addition, a goal that was to not be around the drinking as much was this new activity through church, the new committee, and finding people and an activity that didn't involve drinking.
That sounds smart.
So does that make sense? The plan makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Does that make you feel more comfortable understanding what's going on?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I had kind of thought, I had assumed that he was just supposed to quit drinking altogether, but, it sounds like you have to take baby steps, right? So,
Well, and what your dad wants and what your dad is willing to do right now.
Okay.
So what we're working on with your dad is cutting back.
okay. No, it makes sense.
Okay. Now, is there anything, I know you had brought up the issue of bringing wine to dinner, so I'm wondering if there's anything, as we look at maybe moving to next week, if there's anything, if you want to keep the plan the same, if you want to look at changing it at all?
I think we don't need to change the plan. I don't think I need to bring wine to dinner.
Okay.
That Julie can serve me a glass, and now that we know what we're doing with that, and cut down on perhaps the buying of wine, having less in my house. I don't know how that affects how much I drink, but it certainly takes away some temptation, and I think we'll try that.
Okay,
Does
so,
that sound good?
Yeah, I think that'll make dinners in my house nicer, actually. You won't get so sleepy.
Oh dear.
okay, so it sounds like you're committed to continuing, and the slight tweaks maybe for this week
Yes.
are to, now that Julie's aware of the plan, is to not bring the wine to her house, stop buying it, and see how that works.
Yes.
All right, so we've been meeting weekly, so we can make an appointment for next week, and we'll see how.
Okay, we'll do that for next week. And should
Sure.
I bring Julie?
It really depends. I don't think Julie needs to come every week. I think you guys can figure out what makes sense, or if I feel that there's something that would be helpful, we can talk about that first.
Well, it's open as far as I'm concerned
Okay.
now that she's been here. If you ever feel you want to come with, and over the next months, please, I'm comfortable with your being here.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll think about it.
Okay. was great to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Thank
too.
you.
My pleasure.